Hey, gorgeous hearts. How are you today? Just taking a breath for a moment. I'm just connecting into the heart. Just stopping. Just for that moment in time. Just want you to do a body scan. Where are you feeling energy? Where are you feeling energy in your body? Is it in the chest or the head? Is there any tension in the body? Our bodies are extremely intelligent tools, and we ignore them a lot. Me too, I'm guilty. I was watching this amazing episode on Gaia TV last night where this woman was talking about the different things our body is telling us that are from emotional and energetic states. And the host, Regina Meredith, was talking about waking up with nausea, and it was like, what's going on? I've never done that. And I remember probably about a month ago now, that was happening to me every single night. And it just struck that, we can actually literally think about, I'm sick to my stomach. What's that telling you? There's lots of different books out there that talk about the barometer of the soul. The body is the barometer of the soul, and the body speaks. And it's literally like there's information coming at us. And information doesn't need to be stuff you hear on the news or things you read. Information is energy. Information is literally in our environments, is the collective energy. And when we are receiving that, our body must compute it. So when we are feeling specific things in our body, it is communication. It is part of the language of spirit. Hello, beauties. So it's just a reminder. I know all of you are healers and empaths and psychic and intuitives, but we all need a reminder. When I see and I'm in that learning space, I remember it's like, oh, that's right. I was getting stuff ready and setting the computer up for this, and my stomach was gurgling and like, blah, 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 blah. And it was like, okay, I'm listening. I need to slow down. Is that what you're saying? And sometimes we're not going to get the message, but being open to it and asking and inquiring opens up the channel for us to receive it. Yesterday, I received 2 written pages full from Spirit, and it was through a new aspect, a new way to receive information that I was trialing out, and I was very pleasantly surprised at what was brought through. It was a beautiful message, and I wanted to share it today in this space and break it down and decipher it, because I feel that it wasn't just a message for me. It's a message to all of us that we can gain something from, that we can learn from, and that we can live from. So I'd love for you right now, actually, whether you're watching live or on the replay, to think of what's happening in your world. What is a question that is on your heart? Because I feel that this is going to help give you an answer to that. So think about a question right now. Is it to do with your physical world? Is it to do with the relationships in your life? Now, when I say relationships, this is so broad. This is the relationship you have with everything and everyone. We could pretty much say our whole existence is relational. What's present for you at the moment? What are you moving towards or moving away from that you would like some clarity on? So hold that in your heart, maybe jot it down if you've got pen and paper handy. Type it into the comments if you feel. So I'm going to start reading what I received. You may be surprised as you loosen your grip and hold a lovingly detached and curious attitude at exactly what remains effortlessly in your life and what is released freely. May divine love awaken sacred passion and love in action fully and completely in the world. Now, those two lines, see, I've got all these separate lines in separate ways. And I'm going to do another video at another time about this divination tool because it's not something that can be just quickly explained. What is it that you're holding on to that maybe just relaxing a little bit, maybe just letting it go will enable you to see it for what it is? You know, when we are in our essence of divine love, it awakens the sacred passion in our lives. It is love in action, and that's what will fuel us in the world. I'll continue with Spirit's message. There may be times when you wish others could see things as you do. During this time, you will earn your spiritual stripes, as to say. Stripes, so to speak. Know you have the power of love and light within you. As you shine your truth here in the world, with joy, with peace, with creativity, and with happiness, you bring comfort to many souls in need. How often do you feel like maybe what you do or who you are isn't doing anything, or isn't enough, or isn't making the impact that you thought it should? What I received from this message was we don't have to do anything. And this isn't new. I'm not saying anything new to you guys, and it's things I've said a million times before, but Spirit has to keep repeating itself for us to hear. That when we are in our joy and our happiness and in our flow, whatever that looks like, that's what makes things happen. Energy, our energy is what makes things happen. I'll keep going. Fear can create suspicion and judgment about rest, turning it into something we consider it to be a sign of weakness rather than wisdom, of laziness rather than intelligence, of lack of productivity rather than a way to regenerate our creative energies. Who feels guilty about doing nothing? I'm definitely better than I was, but I've always had a very driven motivation and personality to get things done. And it's a reminder that doing is not going to always result in productivity. That stopping and coming into stillness, and I've brought in a beautiful daily practice at the moment, which I am just finding so regenerative and so nourishing, is absolutely important, is absolutely vital. So at the moment I'm getting up super early and I'm going down to the water and I'm watching the sunrise. I am meditating down there. I'm doing my daily practices. I did a beautiful shamanic sun activation ceremony there this morning that I'm going to be sharing through video later. And it is that time of stillness. It is that time to be in nature and to really just listen. And the amount of emotions that start to be processed in that space because it's available. I've found this little nook that's actually quite private, and I have to climb down this steep bit. It just means there's not going to be general walkers walking past, and I feel safe to go into whatever's moving within me. As we are so highly conscious, we are processing things on behalf of the collective. This is why I'm receiving more downloads. This is why the sleep cycles may be affected. This is why you might find yourself moving into the deeper areas of emotions and energies way more often. I'm finding I need to cry a lot because it's a release, it's a movement of energy. So allowing that to come and not judging yourself for it. I'll keep going. Golden grace can evoke reaction too. Sometimes gratitude and wonder, sometimes it gives rises to issues about receiving self-worth and even fear of prosperity. Golden grace. Just let those words sink into your being for a moment. And what does it mean to you? Golden grace, having grace, just being, just allowing. Being in that rest mode, that receptivity mode. And again, we can start to go, oh, but I'm not doing the things that I thought I should, or it's expected of me to get somewhere, to do something, to achieve something. If you want to live a life of passionate purpose, where you are meeting love rather than living in fear or trying to progress only by a harder approach of constant discipline, then you are going to need to look within and really see what moves you. What lights you up? What makes your heart expand? Is it a person? Is it a memory? Is it an activity that you can do? Like doing those daily practices is something that lights me up, even though it might take me into an emotional state. Feeling connected to the people that I love and feeling like I can be open and transparent and vulnerable, that's what lights me up. Being out in nature, soaking up her energy and her beauty and using her as the medicinal tool that she is so she can transmute energies through and from me. It makes you just feel so grateful. I had a memory pop up this morning on Facebook of 2 years ago being over in Croatia at this time at a huge music festival for the group moon celebration, the group honeymoon celebration for close friends of mine who'd been married over in Spain. And I was just looking through the photos going, wow, like remembering who I was at that point. And it lit me up to remember that time with my friends. And I really miss that at the moment. I'm really missing that connection and that, the physical, being able to hug them and see them. And, where are you with this at the moment? How do you feel? Because I'm not doing what I used to do to distract myself. I'm being present in this, and it's a harder slog, I tell you. But it means I'm going to learn the lesson quicker. I'm going to move through it quicker. I'm using nature and not enough, but exercise and movement as a way to process this. Confusion, shame, guilt, and fear of being lazy can enter the mind and cause tension in the body, making it difficult to let go and be in an experience of enjoyment. Like, do you relate rest to being lazy? Can we take that vocabulary out? Can we reframe this so that those times of stillness are part of your practice, are part of your self-care routine, that you know that you are doing that in order for you to do whatever it is you feel you are motivated and divinely inspired to create action around? Although some truths can be uncomfortable for the mind, there is a deeper truth that brings only comfort. They're about the wounded fantasies of the people making the projection. With the light in your mind, you can see clearly that although it may seem harmless enough to that person, you know it is not a good meal for you. Other people's fears, other people's opinions, other people's expectations are not fuel for you, for your heart. That doing anything from a place of expectation, from a place of someone else wanting you to do it, to fulfill something, isn't going to be the thing that's going to drive you and create that light inside. Saying yes to the right nourishment for you means saying no to foods that sap your energy and drain you. That will likely mean saying no to fear-based projections and physical foods that is highly processed with additives that damage your body and diminish your energy. Now, if we put that all into an energetic cauldron, this is, I love it. I just saw Rena saying, just saw 222 on a bus as confirmation. Ding. We are absolutely bombarded at the moment by a ridiculous amount of information and a lot of disinformation and a lot of contradictory information that is going to chunk anyone out. So understanding what you want to feed yourself physically, with physical food, with water, and with information is going to be how you survive through this, how you get through this still sane and still be able to navigate the energies that are around. I'll keep going, then I'll jump into the chat box, okay? The universe is helping you, and you shall get your answers, no matter how much or how long you have struggled in the past. You're a precious child of the Divine Mother, and she will nourish you with her life-sustaining blessings. If you have heard a message or someone has told you something that they believe has come from spiritual worlds and it makes you feel bad, if what you see, feel, hear, or are told is based in fear in any way, it is not from the highest spiritual worlds. What I'm reading from this is that if there is information that you are receiving, not just of a spiritual nature, that creates a fear response in your body, because there is much propaganda at the moment that is actually designed to do that, take a moment. Don't respond from fear. Don't acquiesce from fear. Acquiesce from your heart's knowing, your heart's truth. Is this true, what I'm receiving at the moment? Is this true, what I'm telling myself at the moment? Is my belief around this true? You know, it's not just us getting false information from externals. We're giving it to ourselves. This is where we have to step up in consciousness so that we are asking ourselves the tough questions and moving through it, even if it disintegrates who we think we are and who we were and why we were worthy and what we were loved for. Only when we pop out on the other side are we going to see with clarity and perspective that allows us to move forward. Otherwise, we're always going to be stuck in that place. You'll have more energy to deal with life, and you'll attract more experiences that increase the good feelings you have about yourself and your love in the world. If you eat from other people's plates of fear, you are colluding with that fear, agreeing that it is appropriate behavior for another to blame you for their pain. How does this relate to the question that you asked in the beginning of this? How are you colluding with the fear? How are you making it appropriate that other people's fear is your responsibility? That their pain is your responsibility? They're not saying not to have love and compassion and kindness for every single being and entity and thing that we are experiencing. It's just understanding when to take responsibility and when to say, that's actually not mine. I want you to repeat after me for a moment. I trust you, universe, and I love you. I trust you, universe, and I love you. I trust you, universe, and I love you. Sometimes we need to keep that faith of that higher perspective that we can all tap into in order to get through. To hand it over. If we are sitting and stewing over things, that is blocking and contracting our energy so it is not free to move and flow as it is designed to do. Hand over your worries, hand over your pain, hand over your fear to the universe and ask for them to sort it out. Some souls choose to have lifetimes where much struggle characterizes the early phase of their life, preparing them for great work at a much lighter and more joyful experience in the second half of their life. I was really feeling affected by the news that's come out of Afghanistan with the Taliban finally taking over the capital. And the thousands of women who were trying to board the final planes out of there. And it's hard. Like, I don't feel that statement was directly about them, but it's like just having this trust that different souls have come here for different experiences, for that soul's growth. And again, that compassion in my heart makes me want to weep. But we're all subject to people in our environment and people that we know that just seem to be doing it tough, that they're struggling mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, and sometimes we're powerless to do anything to help them, and it can feel pretty yuck. So trusting that we're all walking a path that we actually chose to have, and that we all chose to come here during this turbulent time, and it may not showcase itself for a while yet. Why we're doing that. To engage fully with your potential for spiritual growth and personal transformation will inspire others with what is possible whilst bringing you deep, soul-satisfying joy. So basically, do what you love and do it often. Show up for what you are here to do that lights you up, because that is going to have the ripple effect. That is going to be what changes things, society, culture. When you get bogged down in the stuff with everyone else, there's no one shining a light for them to go, that's where I want to be, that's where I want to go. Spirit keeps talking about being the lighthouse, being the sun. I've got lots of energy flowing through me as I speak this. It's like you being that lighthouse, you being that sun, you are going to shine a light for others to receive illumination from, to receive knowledge and wisdom codes from. That light is going to cast some shadows, and people need to look at their shadows. It's an absolute paramount must for us to raise in consciousness. It's not fun at all, but it's really great on the other side. And it's enlightening and it's liberating. And there's still a deep joy, even when you're in it, when you know why you're in it, when you know why you're going through it. You don't have to interact or react with those energies or even pay them much attention at all, if any. I've had a few people messaging me in the last few days just going, I need to check out. I just need to not hear things and see things at the moment. And it's like, yes, check out. Have a low information week. Have a low information diet. Go and do the things that make you feel nourished. Don't watch the news. Don't read all the stuff on social media. Fill it up, if with anything. Maybe you just want silence and beautiful movies that distract you, or beautiful music that just makes you feel like you want to move your body. But if you still want to engage, watch things that are enlightening, that boost you, that raise your frequency. Go and do some ceremonies and rituals that are releasing the stuff that you want to let go. Yeah? I've been living this work over the last few weeks especially. I have got some of my core stuff surfacing. This is shadow work. This is what we all go through. It creates a real sense of vulnerability. It feels vulnerable to share it publicly. But I choose to walk my talk, where I go through a process to identify what's there. Why am I feeling this? Why am I thinking this? What's the belief there? Ooh, where does that come from? When's the first time I felt this way? And I wheedle it down to this core nugget and go, wow, that's the thing I need to shift. Then I have something to do ceremony about, because then I can open up a sacred space. I can release it from my physical, my energetic, my emotional, and my spiritual bodies. I then am able to fill myself back up with what I want to. We've got to make space for the good to come in. If we're holding all this crap inside of us, where's the light going to come into? Where's the newness? How are we going to refresh ourselves, regenerate ourselves? Finally, one more thing that I'd love you to repeat. Repeat after me. I am blessed by wild compassion, and I trust in the unconditionally loving intervention of the divine on my behalf. My life is wild and free, a faithful expression of my soul blessed by grace. I am blessed by wild compassion, and I trust in the unconditionally loving intervention of the divine on my behalf. My life is wild and free, a faithful expression of my soul blessed by grace. What a beautiful message to receive. I've been dowsing since I was a child, pendulum dowsing. Using something on the end, I ask for yes and I ask for no. And what I learnt the other night, it's amazing because this is something my mother's done, my grandmother's done. It's just been kind of done and very self-taught, and I've had an interesting relationship with spirit over the years, and it's something that is very great to develop. You can also use muscle testing and body dowsing, where you're rocking back and forth, are you moving towards something or away from something. There's a whole gamut, and I want to do some education on this. But the next level of it was pulling an oracle card, asking a question, pulling an oracle card. And it's not about the card or the full write-up, it's more about a sentence within the write-up. So I asked for them to give me an answer to a question, which is what I got these 2 pages from, but they got me to pull 17 cards to get it all. And I was like, guys, come on. And this was down at sunrise yesterday, and I was down there for 2 hours doing it. But I feel like there was so much in that. I want to create an audio of it so I can listen to it and keep receiving the next levels. So it's been a real joy to share it with you today and to break it down and decipher it, because it's going to have information and coding within that for whatever you are traveling through at the moment and whatever you're questioning. Okay, just looking into the chats. Hello, beautifuls. Scott's saying, I just realized when I'm focused on issues, etc., or what I'm meant to be doing, I'm not focusing on love. Putting love into the world or myself allows everything to flow and be received. 100%. Oh, 100%. How easy is it to get lost in this sense of should or could, past or future, you know? It's like coming back into the now. When I did the channeling with Spirit this morning, they just said, there is a place in your heart that is still. And I'm crying and I'm going, I know, but it's hard to remember sometimes. And they're like, yeah, just come back into that space. Because when we feel a little bit hurt and a little bit vulnerable, we close it up. And they showed me this need to just open it up. And gosh, that feels vulnerable and a bit scary and a bit painful to open that heart. And they showed me that heart space opening and enveloping the whole world. And it's like, I'm willing to go through that pain if it's going to help, if it's going to put in that loving energy into this world around us. Scott saying, decades of getting the job done, deadlines, etc., 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 lead me to a major crash that I needed in order for Spirit to stop me in my tracks so I could listen and learn and grow. 7 years later, I'm just starting to feel ready to move forward. And it will. It will. You will be hit by that Mack truck if you don't hear the feathers, if you don't hear the whispers, if you don't hear the gentle knocks on the door, if you don't hear the bricks on the door, the Mack truck will come. And I think we've all had it at some point and in some way. And, you know, we kind of need to have that to then start to go, oh, actually, I'm starting to hear the knock before the Mack truck. Oh, I'm going to change this before it gets too painful, rather than going, it's okay, I'll just keep getting through it. It's like, no, We're not meant to live in pain, in emotional pain, in anguish. Like, energy is speaking to us all the time. Spirit is working with energy. So listen to your body. If you need to take the day off and you've got a to-do list as long as your arm, and there's this fight going on in between you going, but if I don't get that done, I'm going to stress out. But I need to stop right now because otherwise I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. Like, who are you going to listen to? You can change the list. You can negotiate with people about deadlines. You can show up in your truth and honesty and integrity and say, hey, I actually really just need some stillness today. I need a mental health day. I need to go out into nature. Whatever it is that you need, it's like your being and your body and your mind and your heart and your soul are the most fundamental part of you. You cannot operate without them. So if you don't look after them, they're going to make you sick. They're going to bring that Mack truck into your life. They're going to do the things that create even more chaos. So don't wait for that time. I love you guys. Thank you for showing up. If you're watching the replay, pop the replay in and pop in what your experiences have been having, what's been going on in your life. As of next week, we are commencing the Foundations of Ceremony program, which will unfortunately be at this time slot. So I'll be running the masterclasses at midday on Wednesday for the following few weeks. We have a few spots left if anyone is interested in finding out how to use this beautiful modality to move through emotions, move through energy. And I think you all know me. You know how much it works for the world that I live in. And I know it's not going to be for everyone, but for those in this group, I think you're starting to receive the medicine. I love you all. Oh, I've also got 50% off the shamanic sessions still. So if you are traveling through anything, if you are feeling a little bit like you need something, support, guidance, spirit messages, maybe some healing from a past life, maybe you're experiencing something on the physical level, maybe you're going through beliefs and thought stuff that we can help shift. There's shamanic healing sessions, Akashic record readings, we've got the legacy sessions, and we've also just got the mentoring. So I work with quite a few clients on an ongoing basis. So lots of options there. You've also got the YouTube channel, and I'd love for you to pop over there and hit subscribe. It is at I am Majenta Moon. And lots of content there if you are still in that space of just needing to digest what's out there for free. I love you guys. Thank you. Have a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and I'll see you soon.